Hey friends, this is JB on JB's Man Cave and we're driving around Evanston, Wyoming today. While we do that, you'll see facts about Wyoming and you'll hear my brief comments. Right now you can see on the map where Evanston is in relation to Salt Lake City and Utah. The boundaries of Wyoming are straight, so it's a landlocked state. And we will be recording in 2.7K at 30 FPS. Now there's a previous video to this that is the road trip from Utah to Wyoming, so if that's of interest to you, you can always find that on my channel. It's a nice sunny day today. I did not have stabilization on, so in places where there are bumps it will be a bit shaky. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. It's free. Just hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate your support. You can see one of the fact boxes about Wyoming in play. Those will come every now and again as we drive here in Evanston. Evanston is a small town and this was a Saturday, so maybe there aren't as many people around as there would be during a business day. But it is quite sparse. There are large streets, and even though it's a small area, it does have everything that you would think you would need for living. You know, shopping, groceries, gas stations, even has a dollar store, Walmart, etc. Now, Evanston was founded in 1868. During the building of the railroad, and you know, I guess as men worked on the railroad, they needed a place to set up, and the surveyor of the Union Pacific Railroad at the time was James A. Evans, and that's how this area got its name, Evanston, after him. As trains brought in more and more people, the town of Evanston began to develop. They started to have their own courthouse, their own saloon, and various things that are necessary for living. They even had at one time their own Chinatown. They had a thriving Chinese immigrant population, but the community where they stayed in the house, the Joss house, was destroyed by fire in 1922. But I believe they have a replica house in honor to that population, a Chinese population that was here that helped build the railroad. We weren't able to stop and see any particular places except for the center of the town. And there's a video for that I already have on my channel. You can always look for it. You can see some of the shopping places on the left. Right now we were just driving through, taking a look. Now you may say, well, you know, what is remarkable about the area? Wyoming of itself is very unique. Its population, its people, the laws. You could see and hear some of the things that are being said if you search online about Wyoming, but you can also check the fact boxes that appear. A lot of interesting movies that were made about Wyoming, and movies themselves that were filmed around things like Star Trek and whatnot that were filmed right here in Wyoming as well. There's an open carry law in Wyoming, so you won't want to get anybody angry because they are armed legally. I didn't have much interaction with anybody local except for buying stuff and whatnot. Seemed friendly. I have read that they tend to be matter of fact and straight to the point. I don't know if that's true or not. If you're from Wyoming or even from Evanston, you could always tell me if that's true or not. And also, I'm not a historian, so feel free to chime in the comments area. Tell us what you know about Evanston, or maybe you grew up here or passed through here or worked here at one time, and we'll be able to fill in the gaps that I'm not too good at. When oil and gas was discovered in Wyoming, there was a big boom, but maybe some of that has shifted. The state does count a lot on energy, especially coal, and because of that, they actually don't have income tax. Actually, for being one of the least populated states in the US, it's surprising there aren't a lot of more people here. Maybe not everybody wants to get into coal, I don't know, but that seems like a big incentive to live here. What do you think? So we kind of circle in the area. This hill takes us up high a bit, so you could see Evanston down to the right. And as we circle back, it'll take us back into the central part of the town. Even though the area is remote, you can see it has good infrastructure, nice open areas, lots of land. The day isn't bad either. It's a sunny day. Sparse clouds here and there. One thing I've noticed, there aren't many trees, except probably planted ones. And by planted ones, I mean people specifically planted trees in the area. I don't know if that's because of the earth, the inability to grow, or simply deforestation. I can only imagine that as the railroads came, they took a lot of the trees and probably at that time didn't plant it back. But there is a lot of hills and mountainous plains, and you don't see much trees on them, just in the low-lying areas. A lot of this road seems to be newly paved. One thing I like about this place is that no matter how small it is or how far away from other cities it may be, the infrastructure is very good, clean. Maybe more can be done on manicuring the landscape, but it's not really a big deal. But it just gives you an idea of what the landscape is like. Evanston and Wyoming laws allow people to gamble, drink, etc., which is something not prevalent in a place like Utah, which is largely a religious state, and the state laws make it so that it's very difficult if you want to indulge in those things. Gambling is outright illegal in Utah, and because of Evanston's proximity to Utah, a lot of Utahns come here to get whatever they can't get in Utah, namely to play the lottery or buy alcohol, etc. in a manner that you can't in Utah. While you can drink alcohol in Utah, there are certain restrictions, like it has to be in a restaurant and you can only buy so much, etc. I don't know much about it because I don't drink myself. So, but I have heard of the liquor laws in Utah. One of the most fascinating things that I want to explore in Wyoming when I get a chance is some of the natural places. Yellowstone Park is in Wyoming. Maybe some future videos will show that. Right now we're just driving around Evanston. By the way, the month of the year would be, this would be either April or May. So it's approaching summertime. It's warm but not too hot. You can see most of the houses are ground level. But don't be fooled by, I know some people who live abroad will see these houses and think they're very small, but some of the designs with the basements, they can actually be multi-level. Like I saw a house recently, looks small from the outside, but when you go in it was huge. Had something like 6 or 7 bedrooms and 3 baths. It was amazing. So we kind of made this big loop and we're just gonna wait for this traffic light. We're gonna turn left and go towards the center of Evanston. Have a look at some of the buildings there and then continue to drive around. Like I said, if you're from Evanston or familiar with the place, you can always comment and tell me more about it, what you like about Evanston, if you've lived there, if you've passed through, etc. I'm going to allow for some music to play in the background. The facts box will continue to appear, and feel free to keep looking and watching Evanston, Wyoming. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment.